Hello and welcome to User Spotlights. I'm Laura with ClickFunnels, and today I'm joined by Daniel Mangena. Daniel is a best-selling author, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and a public speaker. He's a member of the Transformational Leadership Council, Mavericks 1000, and a contributor to Entrepreneur and other leading magazines. His books, podcasts, events, and retreats continue to help captains of industry and private individuals alike live an abundant, joyful, and purpose-driven life. Thanks so much for being with me, Daniel. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Really excited to be here.
So to get started, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started in this?
Yeah. Well, I've actually always been an entrepreneur. I'm one of those weird people that's never really actually had a real job. I worked at the cinema when I was a teenager, but I was already making and selling computers at the time and had other entrepreneurial things that I was doing. And then the only time I had a job because I needed a job was in my mid-20s when I was kind of clawing my way back after my second big loss and building a business. And I worked in a call center for a few months just to pay the bills while I built my business up. And then I was off and away. So I've always been an entrepreneur, but this particular business that I'm in now with the personal development and sharing pretty much the journey that I went through to supporting people in creating an abundant life off the back of those lessons, I've been doing since 2018. And it's more of a very much a mission and purpose driven business for me.
Very cool. And you said that you've been an entrepreneur forever. Did it run in your family? How did you get involved in it?
To be honest, I just like the idea of somebody telling me what to do just never really sat well with me. I didn't even finish my degree because my parents said I was supposed to do it. I only did a year of my university degree. And also I really always wanted to be rich. I was like, I always knew I was going to be a millionaire. I was going to be wealthy and successful. And so I didn't really see that happening working in a job. And so I just went off and did it by myself and always doing little projects and stuff like that. I think I was like the kid that had the car washing service and stuff like that. Whenever we go away for holidays, I'd look for things I could bring back and sell for profit. So I was kind of always on it. I was always that kid.
Yeah, creating your own path. So what led you to ClickFunnels?
So ClickFunnels, I remember the first time I heard Russell do a presentation, it was towards I want to say the first year that I was running this particular business. And I'd never heard his name before. And it's really funny how you can never hear somebody's name, but then after that, you just hear the name all of the time. And he was talking about offer stacking. And I remember in the podcast interview, he was speaking about how offer stacking made all of the difference. And he was talking about, I was like, wow, this guy is able to touch all. And I love the fact that with every single time I heard him after that, it was never about how much money he's made, even though we know he's very successful because ClickFunnels does really, really well. He's always talking about helping entrepreneurs. He's always talking about adding value. He's always talking about improving the world. He's always talking about making a difference. And these are key values that I hold as well. So I really, really resonated with that message and then started to fiddle around with the ClickFunnels platform, realized that I'm not really technical, found somebody to help me. And since then, we've really, really built most of our stock, and then we moved all of our online programs onto the ClickFunnels platform. It's just such a cool place. And then we've had the top package forever. And so even the educational materials available on FunnelFlix have been really great. We still use them to this day with our team. So it just became this ecosystem that I came immersed in. I was doing the Funnel Fridays every week, even though I was never doing them myself. I was like, guys, look at this stuff that Russell was talking about this week.
Yeah.
We've got to implement it. And we found our vein over the last couple of years, really found the place where we're really able to serve. And obviously we've got the 2 Comma Club Award. We qualified for it at the beginning of last year, but you guys took 9 months to audit our business and make sure that we weren't, live without making that much money or whatever. So yeah, it really did make a difference having that really firm structure to support us in being able to serve people and go out there and focus on doing that.
Really cool. And you talked about how you qualified for the 2 Comma Club Award, which is incredible. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit more about the funnels that you use in your business?
Mm-hmm. So we use an application funnel. So one of the principles I teach is something called Money DNA and how it's really important to understand where your flow exists. So a lot of people would look at the plethora of different funnel opportunities that are available and keep dipping and trying different ones and then think that funnels don't work. When actually, if you understand where your natural groove is and where your natural flow is, you can focus on that one. You can do your A/B split testing. You can make sure that you've got the right messaging, make sure you're in the right market, and then focus on that one. And so for us, it was really the fact that I like to focus on a small group of people that I can have big impact with for the main. And then I use the revenue from that in order to generate more content and stuff for everyone else. So I love having my podcast. We don't really have many calls to action on the podcast. There's very gentle ones, but it's not really there to sell, it's there to serve. I blog very, very regularly. I write for Entrepreneur and other magazines. Pretty much at the moment, we've taken a bit of a hiatus on the social media content because we're restructuring a few things. But that, again, it's not really for me to generate leads. It's just for me to be able to serve. And even the documentary, spent a lot of money putting together a documentary that's nearly ready to release. But focusing on the higher ticket items with an application funnel, and then using other forms of the funnels to generate leads through the rest of the other content, which is really just about getting people on the email list so we can serve them, is what we've done. But the main thing that we use is the application funnel to get people into space where we can have the opportunity to serve them through a higher ticket offer.
Very cool. I'm interested more in learning a little bit more about how you got involved in the self-development or the personal development and coaching. So what was it that put you on the trajectory of like wanting to create impact for other people?
Again, I was just one of those weird people. Like when I was like 16, I was ordering tapes from Nightingale Conant and like reading Think and Grow Rich. I read Psycho-Cybernetics when I was like 18 years old. And like Joe Carbo's Easy Way to Riches, Stuart Goldsmith's Midas Method, the Master Key System I was studying at 19. So I was a teenager. Like I probably not going to tell too much about what I was going to say. Suffice to say, I wasn't talking to girls and drinking when I was a teenager.
You were an anomaly. Yeah.
I wasn't partying and talking to girls until early 20s. Before that time, I was really just focused on entrepreneurship. And so personal development was a big part of that, because with personal development, that actually gave me the frameworks I was able to use to be an entrepreneur. And even when I went through rough times, which everyone who's been an entrepreneur will go through, it just happened that I had them very young because I had my entrepreneurship very young. It was personal development that actually supported me being able to navigate those waters and to deal with the ebbs and flows of business, which all of us are going to have.
Yeah. What types of goals do you have now? I mean, you've made the 2 Comma Club award. You're seeing success in business. You're doing all the things that you love to do. Where do you see this 10, 15, 20 years from now?
Well, for me personally, for my personal time and energy, I'm actually focused on becoming a full-time philanthropist over the next 3 to 5 years. That's my personal goal. In terms of the business and how we're serving, we want to serve enough people to have got to the 10X award with one of the particular offers that we're working with right now. The numbers work as we're going right now. We're on the right track for it. And then I really want to focus on using film to communicate my message to people, because I think that's a differentiator. You can get a book, you can sell 10,000 copies of a book or whatever and have a best-selling book. Everyone's got a podcast now. I started podcasting in 2018 before it was sexy and fancy. Now everybody's got a podcast. So I think for the differentiation, definitely film, because it's not cheap.
Yeah.
Film projects are not cheap, and they're a pain in the butt as well to do. But I really enjoyed the process of doing that. So I want to do more with that. But yeah, full-time philanthropy and then sharing my work through film is what I really, 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 really am excited about doing in the years to come.
Yeah, I really do think that is such a huge key differentiator too, because not many people go that route. Because the book can, have the same impact and last just as long and create your legacy. But with film, you're reaching, I think, a whole different segment of people that maybe don't read or do audiobooks or learn that way. They're visual learners and they like to actually see the story come to life. I find that really fascinating. I personally know people in my own family that feel that way. They're like, I wish this was on film. I wish I could watch it. I wish I could feel immersed in the story. And I think it's really cool that you're going that route. And of course, it's expensive and there's a lot of production involved. But I think it's really beautiful when you can share so much visually.
Yeah. And the cool thing is so this first film that I spent a couple of years being mentored by a guy called Nick Nanton. He's got like 33 Emmy Awards. I invested in his film studio and get to take part in that. I was a part of producing Chris Voss's, the documentary they did about Chris Voss. I was an executive producer on that project. But my own film that we've started off with, I've got a tenured neuroscientist, I've got a medical biochemist, I've got one of the scientists that work on the MRI machine, and we've scientifically interrogated the concept of manifestation. Now, I could have written a book about it, but being able to have this real-time interlaced dialogue going through this discussion and having experts on film that you can see what they're saying, you can feel the passion of what they're saying, because they will ask these questions on the spot. I think it just adds a new dimension to being able to communicate a message also, rather than just words on a page. Yeah,
really cool. Awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing that when it comes out. I would love to check it out. Do you have any advice for people who are, maybe they are that 18, 19-year-old stage and they're kind of feeling like maybe they're a little bit different. They want to be an entrepreneur. They want to be wealthy. They want to start their own thing. What would you tell them?
One of the things, so I made almost £2 multi-million fortunes by the age of 23. And one of the key things for me that led to those bumps in the road, which were good for me because they've led me to be the person I am today. So I'm not denouncing it. I'm grateful for the experience. However, it's very nice when you can learn from somebody else's experience rather than having to go through it yourself. And that's my key point, that don't try and go it alone. Right now, we've got internet. You have the ability to connect with people all over the world. You've got so many thought leaders in business and titans in business that you can learn from through their podcasts, through their YouTube channels, through their book, through documentaries about them. And then you can form networks and groups of people on the same journey as you. And then you can get mentorship, you can get a coach, you can get someone to guide you on the journey. Trying to do it on your own is not the way. Get into community, get into collaboration, get into partnership, and allow yourself to be helped and supported on the way.
I think that's great advice. And so many entrepreneurs, I think, feel loneliness in so many different parts of the journey. Like they do feel like, and so I think connecting, finding community and seeking help. People talk about who, not how, making sure that you have the right people on your team. I think that's really, really powerful. So thank you for sharing that. Where can people go?
Sorry, before I forget, just one thing I definitely want to dovetail on the back of that, because in the process of collaborating and speaking to other people, sometimes we get into this thing where we want to pretend that everything's working all the time and that we're always on top of our game and that we're not having issues. And sometimes I think whether it's shame, guilt, or embarrassment, we don't want to share the problems that we're going through. But I can tell you now from personal experience of being an entrepreneur now for more than 20 years, nobody has it right all the time. Nobody's having a good time all the time. Everybody's having challenges at some point in the journey. And the more that you're honest with yourself and the people who can actually help you, the more help you can get. Sorry, I just wanted to add that because I think
I love that. And I'm sure that's very helpful for people to understand and to be able to be vulnerable in sharing that story, because everybody knows that everybody goes through failures, whether they're big or small. And to be honest about that, I don't think we would be able to be successful without getting through some pretty big failures. So I do think that that's very important. So where can people go to learn more about you and your business, Daniel?
Dreamwithdan.com. Really easy to remember, really easy to find. Dreamwithdan.com.
Dreamwithdan.com. All right. Well, thanks so much for being my guest today. I look forward to chatting with you soon, looking out for that documentary and everything that you're doing with film. And hopefully we'll see you walk across the stage and collect award at Funnel Hacking Live.
We're looking for the 10X, so we'll see. We're on target for this time next year to at least qualify. We'll see how long it takes you guys to audit, but we'll be
going to hit up it. All right. Thanks so much. All right. Thanks, Daniel. Have a great one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.